Export TT, Mr. Ashmir Mohammed, directors of the board of the TTMA, past presidents of the TTMA, past directors of the TTMA, members and other key stakeholders of the TTMA, our specially invited guests from other BSOs, ladies and gentlemen, members of the media, a good morning to you all. And thank you, Franca, for actually highlighting that we are getting a lot of things done. Sometimes it doesn't feel that way. But it's a great day to be here at the Trinidad Hilton to kick off the TTMA's AGM Business Breakfast. It's an honor to be in the same room as some of the greatest innovators of our nation. I'm grateful for your confidence bestowed on me by the board of the TTMA in electing me the president of this prestigious and worthwhile organization once again. I'd like to sincerely thank my board of directors for the unrelenting support which I've received in the past year, and I look forward to working with the new board in the upcoming term of my presidency. I'm confident that we have a great team, and one that can and will move the association in the right direction. Our goal is simple this year: do all in our power and influence to propel Trinidad and Tobago manufacturing to being the most sustainable source of revenue, employment, foreign exchange, and essential goods and services in our country. Pretty simple task, board, that we have ahead of us. But we recognize that nation building, both economical and social, is a collaborative effort, and it is our mission to ensure that the government recognizes and embraces this so that we can help each other fulfill this mandate. What is the state of manufacturing in Trinidad and Tobago today? Manufacturing in our country is a confident industry. We are growing, investing, hiring, and raising the standards of living in communities all across the nation. We are exporting and increasing our market share in that way. We are providing some of the highest quality of products on the market today, which gives the consumers the greatest return on our investment. We are truly striving towards self-sufficiency as a nation. We have great leaders, innovators, and entrepreneurs right here in our own shores. We have recognized that if we are to be part of a sustainable economic solution for this nation and lead the diversification agenda, we will need to grow rapidly. We have received incentives from the government in the past, and we've seen the correlation with the results in our industry. However, despite the downturn in the economy, oil and gas remains the #1 GDP earner for our country. To be part of the diversification solution, we need to have a sustainable avenue to replace the GDP for our country that would have come from oil and gas. We are nowhere near this goal. As well as we are doing, only export will get us there. Our local market is simply too small to make the impact of GDP that our economy requires. We must export more. As persons in business, we understand all about competing priorities. We understand about scarce economic resources and the opportunity cost of putting it to work. We are ever mindful of the dire financial constraints, but we are also equally mindful that we have to stimulate the economy to start the wheels turning towards recovery. For manufacturers, it's not about politics and personalities. We simply want to get going. And quite frankly, a great deal of work needs to go into growing our sector. Whether any of us like it or not, we need government's buy-in and support to get to where we both need to go. We can significantly grow our industry and market share by exporting, but when we export, we need to efficiently and effectively compete on the world stage. Governments around the world recognize and incentivize this, create concessions, and most significantly, create the most empowerment and conducive climate for success that they can. It's difficult to compete when we are hindered by many issues, which are not issues that our competitors from other nations have. Though I am heartened by the resilience of our industry, I have seen great strides in creation and innovation. Our membership has continuously expressed that it is increasingly challenging to conduct business in Trinidad and Tobago. While trying to grow an industry in a significant way in a short space of time, within the recent past, we have been faced with increased income tax, green fund and business levies, coupled with cut subsidies, and we are on the verge of a reintroduction of a property tax. If this particular tax is not done right, an additional tax measure can be very onerous on the business community once implemented on plant and equipment. Let me say here that the TTMA's perspective, we have made recommendations on how a framework for the reintroduction of property tax should be rolled out, and we await feedback from the government with respect to our proposals. I have been approached by our members, some of whom have said that these measures and increased obstacles and challenges to engage in business in TNT have said that it has aided and eroded the attractiveness of setting up businesses in Trinidad and Tobago. For that matter, some have already begun the process of setting up business in other islands and jurisdictions where the climate for success is better. The bureaucratic issues when dealing with government agencies has been too time-consuming for some, and many are willing to take their investment elsewhere. These persons are not unpatriotic in any way. These persons have begun this process after years of frustration and hitting brick walls when attempting to get things done. As such, government may not always be the fault here, but all the same, I do believe that government can use its authority to ensure processes are engaged in a timely, efficient, and effective manner. I'm certainly not professing that this would be an easy task for government, but it is imperative that if government addresses the inefficiencies to ensure that processes run more smoothly, whether it may be in process realignment, additional headcount to deal with the workload, or a different skill set with a staff that has the right mindset to carry out required duties. These are issues that are simply out of our control. Inefficient government bureaucracy remains a top 3 problematic factor in doing business in this country. Where undue bureaucracies exist, I've come to realize that someone benefits at the expense of the government, business, and the tax-paying population. We need to address these unwanted bureaucracies immediately. It seems that foreign consultants are continuously engaged by government agencies in order to audit, give advice, and create a way forward for change. These reports often take a long time to compile, and we never seem to get to the point of execution. I have met some good people in the government agencies. Surely there must be some leaders in the agencies who could tweak and redefine processes in the simplest of ways in order to reduce time frames in which work is done. Just look at our production line and figure out, just as we look at our production line and figure out ways to be more efficient, ways to generate more out of our production, it is my wish that the government could do the same in their agencies, look inward to re-engineer processes. Who knows these processes better than the process owners themselves? And they should be given the empowering opportunity to put their ideas in to improve these processes. Much of the competitiveness that we have managed to create for ourselves by our production experiences, techniques, and capabilities are in many cases eroded by obstacles for our success. However, I firmly believe that at the factory door, we as manufacturers and exporters are as competitive as any other country's manufacturers in the region. The problem is the inefficiencies with our agencies that drive up the cost, and there's little we can do as manufacturers to curb this situation. We are asked to compete in a globalized environment where our traditional forms of border protection, tariffs, and in some instances quotas are eroded because of the free trade agreements and conditionalities. It appears that we need more than free trade in this regard. We need fair trade. So there are some arrangements that are simply not working for us, and we need to address those issues of fair trade that seem to be going on for far too long. Our competitors don't always face the same challenges that we do. And so with this additional burden we are made to face, the final prices of our good results in our competitiveness being eroded. Crime in this country is something that affects us all. I don't believe that I can address this gathering without mentioning the effects of crime on us personally and on carrying out our business in this country. Our murder rate is on a steady rise, and security for our businesses is essential as raw material for production. The costs we expend to ensure the safety of our employees and customers are increasing and are factored into the cost of annual operations. The cost of private security for our businesses is the highest of all Caribbean countries and way above international averages. Increased in insurance, security equipment and personnel, and losses due to robbery and theft draw money away from activities that could potentially enhance productivity and create savings for the consumer. The factory shift system is currently being impacted by crime, and traveling is becoming very risky for our employees now at any time of day and night. The cost of crime in our businesses is borne as much as possible by the business community, but once it becomes too high, the consumer will also feel the burn. I do believe that by our citizens being meaningfully employed will assist in curbing crime. I'm not referring to make work programs, as these are short-term solutions, which in many cases hurt our industry and does a disservice to the work ethic of our people in the nation. The resumes that cross my desk daily are of people who are qualified to do so much, but skilled to do nothing. We need thinkers and innovators, not just qualified persons passing through a system. A holistic look at the national skill bank we need to create is essential. I think that the Economic Development Advisory Board, under the stewardship of Dr. Farrell, did a lot of good groundwork in this regard. I would even call some of the work exciting. Key suggestions were submitted to government, included a draft diversification strategy and roadmap, which itemized and prioritized Trinidad and Tobago's manufacturing. Yes, it is disappointing that such work has lacked any progress on ideas and proposals. Some of you who were here at our AGM this morning would have heard my report on our last year of operations, where I mentioned some of the challenges that we continue to face as a business body in the country. I wish to mention 3 of them here in summary. The TTMA has continuously worked with the Ministry of Trade and Industry and the Ministry of Finance on onerous issues such as VAT rebates, an export incentive, and a foreign exchange shortage. We have provided what we believe to be simple and workable solutions to those in authority. We are optimistic, as the Minister of Finance has indicated in more than one public forum, that he would be seeking to address these matters, which we brought to him, and establishing of a foreign exchange facility of the Exim Bank, addressing the VAT rebate early in 2018 and having an export incentive in place immediately. However, 6 months after these commitments were made, these catalytic measures are yet to be materialized. And with the national community, we are growing very impatient. Talk done, time for action. This year, as the president of the TTMA, I intend to continue efforts in advocating for our manufacturers to ensure that our climate for growth and competitiveness is optimal. There's also a particular initiative which I would like to see bear fruit in 2018. This is the Proudly TNT campaign. This does not have so much to do with a buy local campaign, as we see it as from a much larger perspective. The campaign will be used to restore a sense of pride and patriotism in our citizens. We will be sharing manufacturing success stories, showcasing the quality of our goods, many of which are now well sought after across the globe. We meet international standards, and our prices are usually most sensitive for consumers. We employ over 50,000 TNT citizens. Many of our citizens have been employed from the factory floor and have moved up to management through hard work, consistency, and determination. Innovation is changing the way our industry looks right here in our country. And many of our young minds don't even know this. Our youngsters believe we have to grow up and get a job at Google in order to innovate. But that's simply not so. Why not innovate right here and become the next great entrepreneur of our nation? We want to inspire boys and girls, men and women, to lend their talents to building something bigger than themselves, to become people finding purpose in making things that matter and improving the quality of life for our citizens while they're at it. Manufacturers build better lives with the products that we make, and we provide good livelihoods with the jobs that we create. We give people work that provides meaning and purpose, that offers not just a paycheck, but the satisfaction of having created something that matters. While anyone can imagine the future, it takes a manufacturer to build it. We really are the best bet in diversification for our economy towards sustainability. Supporting the manufacturing industry means the support of preservation of the forests we all need in boosting our economy from within. We are grateful for the unwavering support from our lead sponsor, First Citizens Bank, and to the Ministry of Trade for this initiative. This is about mindset change for the consumer and citizens of our country. It has to start somewhere, and this journey will be a rewarding one for us all. Please get involved. In closing, I wish to thank once again the Board of Directors for allowing me to serve in this capacity as President for another term. I hope to realize all the expectations you have of me, and I am certain that with your collaboration and input, we can move the association and the business community of Trinidad and Tobago along a sustainable path. I would also like to thank our CEO, Dr. Ramdeen, and the TTMA Secretariat for all the support and assistance given to me thus far. And I look forward to implementation of our plans in the year ahead. At the TTMA, we have always been determined to do everything in our power to ensure that our nation's manufacturers are ready to build the best future anyone can imagine. And during my second term of presidency, I will continue this legacy with pride. Proudly TNT. Thank you.